Hey nerds! It's Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Exclusive tabletop gaming podcast for the Pacific Northwest. All levels of gamers. Analog gaming. Tabletop news. Dungeons and Dragons and magic. Stupid, mindless bet.
There will definitely be some bet. That's probably our best. That's our best feature.
Hey geeks, Blue Samurai here, and I am with.
I'm Rebeculous, and above me is.
I am still Paul.
And it is episode 73 of Geeks of Cascadia.
God, we're senior citizens.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we have a pretty big show because it might be over
Hey,
an
Ed
hour.
Sullivan.
Yes, and that's because the segment that we planned for this episode, which was behind the DM screen, went a little long because we were reviewing Stormlord's Wrath.
Yeah.
And there was a lot to say, and it was hard to keep some people on task. And so it went a little longer than usual.
It's worth it, though. Every minute is riveting.
Really good. Obviously, there's some spoilers, so
Oh yeah, definitely.
stay tuned for that. I don't think anything that would ruin your adventure, but still, just warning out there. So with that, why don't we go into? Well, there is no con news because guess what?
No cons. My job's
Your
done.
con is probably
Aw.
canceled.
And we've made all the pun jokes that we
Yes,
possibly can.
and it's probably virtual. So in the
Wow.
meantime, we
Lots
do
of-
have some small gaming news that Rebeculous will go through quickly.
Yes, I will.
Thank
Shall I
you.
start now?
You
Okay.
should. Thank you.
So you know how I like to have a theme, right? So my theme, since Valentine's Day is up and coming, that was going to be my theme. But there's really just only one game that I found for that, and it was really X-rated, so I can't really describe it here. So in keeping with the Valentine's,
Well, if you join us for Geeks of Cascadia After Dark,
Yes.
she'll review that for you.
That's
All
true.
right, go ahead.
I will. Anyway, in keeping with the Valentine's Day trajectory, we're doing games of war games, because what's the opposite of love? War,
Sure.
right? So this first one is called. Maybe you can help me with this pronunciation. Tarawa.
Yes,
is-
that's the
yes.
name of a battle in World War II, right?
You got it exactly.
Wow.
And I thought you'd know Blue Samurai because, of course, it
Yes.
has a lot to do with the Japanese in World War II and the island hopping situation that happened there. Tarawa is it's on Kickstarter. It's already super duper funded, probably because it looks really cool. Worthington Publishing, Virginia Beach, Virginia, is who created this game, and it looks. It's one of those do as the card says kind of things. And I'm not super fond of war games, but this one kind of grabbed me because it looks really, really well done, well put together, nice colorful maps and easy to learn. I'm not going to describe it because there are a lot of, there's attack cards and event cards and this and that, but it just looks really well structured and well put together. You'll also learn things, of course. If you're against learning things, then sorry. But but let's see here. The basic thing of the game is if you don't capture this island, then the rest of the island hopping that we did won't happen. You can rewrite history depending on the outcome of this game. Tarawa. Did I say that right? Tarawa?
Yes, that's good.
All right. So that's
It's a little bit
Tarawa.
like Quartermaster General, which is a great game.
It is kind of like Quartermaster General, and I thought that too. And it looks fun. That's why I thought it looks fun. This second one is called the Pratzen. Anyone else into their history out there?
So
1943. No, that's Tarawa. 1805 is where Pratzen. Austerlitz is.
Oh, that's
where
a
this-
Napoleonic War.
Dude.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
Canvas Temple Publishing out of La Plata, Maryland. And apparently that's a bunch of old guys, old codgers who make games. They're all war vets, and they make games out of their own garages because they think it's fun and they don't want the pressures of a publishing house telling them when they have to have this by and what they have to have. So So old codgers, they call themselves, old codger created game. So this guy is a 2-player board game. Excuse me, Cat. Let's see, designed by the author of The Art of Wargaming, Peter Perla. And it is a 2-player war game that portrays the fighting on and around the Pratzen Heights at the Battle of Austerlitz between the French forces of Napoleon, a larger Allied army, yada, yada. Read your history books. Pretty cool, big, colorful map comes with this. And it's another do as the card says thing. I like these because they're easy to learn.
Yes.
This is another one that when you look at it on Kickstarter, it looks like there's a lot of things, but it's really easy to learn. And it's very toteable. It's very carryable. Take it with you anywhere. And it looks, it's great. It's another thing where you might learn something when you play. So I try and stay away from those, but others might like it. The Pratzen. I don't know, anyone who's the German accent could do it. Okay, last one, war games. And this is actually the most toteable, compactable, easy to learnish one of all 3 of these. It's called Operation Market Garden.
Oh, yes, World War II, the airborne operation. Yeah.
You got an A+ on your test.
Doesn't do.
My gosh.
Does not help me at all in real life, but yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
It doesn't. It's super cool. And this one literally has just cards. It's 54 cards. Take it with you anywhere. Super learn. Tom Lee created it. He's out of Watford, UK. He's from the UK. All right, I won't. He also did through Kickstarter successful games Eastern Front, D-Day Operation Overlord, and Battle of Britain. I don't know if y'all know those games, but it's the same guy. So yeah, do as the card says. Two-player game, a little pocket game, and it takes about 20 to 40 minutes. Little kids can play it. It's for like ages 8 and up.
Cool.
It basically contains historical references, so can also be used as a teaching tool.
All right, there's so much learning going on today.
I know, it's hurting my brain.
Yeah.
Original artwork, strategy, as well as luck. I like that. I like when a game's got strategy, but there's also like, you just got to be lucky. Let's see, recreates the largest airborne invasion in history, Operation Market Garden in World War II. Use your battle and tactic cards to outsmart your opponent. Use your equipment wisely, reveal events, and monitor your divisions. Can you win enough battles to secure the vital bridges? Will you be able to capture and hold all of them in time?
Yeah, there's a movie called Bridge Too Far. I don't know if you've seen it, with Gene Hackman in it.
Is that based on this?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have. I appreciate you supplementing my short game review with your awesome war knowledge, history knowledge.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Well, I do have another thing to add before we move on, and that is Wizards of the Coast has announced their new campaign book called Candlekeep Mysteries, an anthology of 17 mystery-themed adventures for the world's greatest role-playing game. It takes place in, guess where? Candlekeep, which is that library fortress.
The one that your character always brags about graduating from.
He certainly did. Yeah. There's 17 adventures, levels 1 through 16. Can't wait till Rabiculus runs us through, or maybe Paul.
Are those basic? Is it for newbies like me? Are they good for that?
It can be. I think everyone from newbie to maybe expert level. And the book does come with a poster map of the library fortress and detailed descriptions, which is pretty cool. If you get on D&D Beyond, it is $29.99, and this all comes out March 16th. But for myself, and I know some of us in our group, we like to buy our book from our local game store to support them. And that is around $49, but you can get an alternate cover.
The alt cover is really cool.
Yes, it is really cool. A keeper. Definitely.
Do they have? Is there a map? You said there's a map of Candlekeep. Is there a map of like the dorms and the places where you stayed when you went there?
Yes, I'll show you exactly where I stayed.
That's March 16th.
That's right, March 16th.
That's something to look forward to in a time of the year when there's nothing to look forward to. That's great.
No,
March. What happens in March? Nothing.
2020 was a really bad year, and then 2021 is like, other than one major thing that was really cool, it's like 2021 is starting to look like 2020, but I guess things will
gotta
get
be
better,
optimistic then. Well, we're used to things,
will get better.
so it's not going to be an ugly slap in the face.
Right.
Yeah,
and and as us 3 essential workers know, you just gotta keep doing it, right? Just gotta keep doing it. Keep society together.
We do.
I want to talk about one thing, if I can, since my segment's gone.
Yes.
It is.
Hold it back towards
Can't see
you.
it. Can't see
I'm trying here.
There it is. Adventure Zone. Bring it back towards you.
You can also throw up a picture up here, too.
I'll throw the picture
That's
up.
true, too.
It's by
Virtual backgrounds.
Together Studios. It's TWO Gather Studios. And of course, it's based on the Adventure Zone podcast. The real quick blip is a cooperative storytelling game for 2 to 5 players. No game master needed. 60 to 120 minutes, 13 and up. We've partnered with the McElroy family, who are the people who play D&D on the Adventure Zone podcast, to create a cooperative storytelling card game based on their epically popular podcast and New York Times best-selling graphic novel series. So I got, as per usual, I got it the first day of OrcaCon. Now, delivered to my house. Now, usually I'm already at OrcaCon and I can't bring that game. But this year, OrcaCon was virtual, so I couldn't bring that game. So there you go.
There you go. And if you want to hear more about that particular game, and you want to hear more about the people that developed it, Keith Baker and Jen Ellis, check out episode 62, where we talk about that, and we don't mention one word about Eberron.
No, because we weren't talking about Eberron.
We were not talking, but we could have.
We could have. But it's already like a 40-minute interview. But Rebecca and I sat there and did the thing because Blue Samurai was busy or something.
I was. I wanted you guys to take it. I was doing direction.
Anyway, it's available on their website now. I had to wait for the Kickstarter thing, or the pre-order thing wasn't Kickstarter. But it's out now. You can buy that now, right now.
Fantastic.
TwoGatherStudios.com.
Did they sign your copy, Paul?
I haven't opened it yet because I can't play it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think the next thing we should do is go into the review. But if you out there want us to review a game or a campaign or whatever, contact us at geeksofcascadia@gmail.com, or
Paul at home.
Paul.
You can call us at 208-61-GEEKS.
Call. What else do we got, Paul?
You can tweet at us at Geeks of Cascadia.
You can throw rocks at our windows with letters attached to them.
Yes.
We'll see those.
You can skin a sheep and in that sheep's blood, write it on the inside of the sheep's skin and hang it.
Wow, you really went to a dark place.
Of course, we are also on Facebook, so you can get us that way. I think we have an Instagram.
If you really want to communicate with us, you'll find a way.
You'll skin a sheep.
Yes. And we'd love it if you would subscribe or put up a review. So we would appreciate that greatly.
That would be great.
So please do that.
I should subscribe to us someday.
And so with that, because this is an hour long and we want to keep this moving, we're going to move right into the review. So let's hear what we all have to say.
Yes.
You're listening to Geeks of Cascadia Behind the DM Screen. And now we review Storm King's Thunder. Blue Samurai here. I am with
Rebeculous. And to my left or right or below me is...
Or maybe up here, I am still Paul. And...
our special guest.
And hi, I'm Steve.
Yes. Our D&D advisor, DM consultant that we don't pay.
Extraordinaire.
Thank you for showing up.
His work is so great.
He is paid in our gratitude and warmth and witty banter.
Yes. Welcome to Behind the DM Screen. I know how you all love our DM campaign reviews, D&D campaign reviews. And so what we have done is we have played Stormlord's Wrath. And if you might remember, that's part of the Essentials kit, at least something that you can get from the Essentials kit from a special code. And if you go back in our previous episodes, there is a beautiful and very popular unboxing and reveal of the Essentials kit that Rebeculus and Still Paul did. And I was not on that, yet it's still the popular one.
I have fond memories of that.
Funny,
Still,
the
Paul.
weird
I don't-
unboxings without Blue Samurai or
I-
something.
I don't get it. But anyway, the Essentials kit actually came with a pre-done adventure, which was called what was
The
that
Dragon of
called?
Icespire Peak.
Yes, Dragon of Icespire Peak, where you got a code that you could either download the PDF or you can go into D&D Beyond and get it. And Stormlord's Wrath is a D&D adventure designed for 7th level characters. It is a continuation of the adventure I just mentioned, Icespire Peak, and was the adventure including the Essentials kit. You can run this adventure as few as 1 or as many as 6 players. And then from there, you can move on to other adventures such as the Sleeping Dragon's Wake and Divine Contention. This was created by Bill Benham and Christopher Lindsay. Story consultant is Christopher Perkins. Lead designer Sean Marwan and developers Will Doyle and James Casso. And there are great pieces of art in there. So my hat's off to the illustrators that did this. Yeah. This adventure is really designed for beginners. Even though it starts at 7th level, it's kind of it just teaches you how to play D&D. And so Paul,
and beginner
take it away.
DMs.
And bigger DMs,
which I am. So
now we did it a little differently because we actually did the adventure from the starters kit, which is different from the Essentials kit.
Yes, the same area, Phandalin.
Yes. So you want to begin, Paul, with the party and how you decided to approach this adventure?
Oh yeah. So since this is supposed to be a continuation of Icespire Peak, which is all around Phandalin and blah blah blah, Butterskull Ranch and all that stuff. It starts out the party is traveling. It could be anywhere around the area, but I used from Phandalin to Leilon, which is on the coast, which was destroyed in the Spell Plague. Mostly destroyed in the Spell Plague. There's bits of it left. And so you're just going to you're a group of hired hands traveling down to Phandalin to get work. No, not to Phandalin, from Phandalin to Leilon to get work. And then you're just riding down the road if you have horses, and you end up at the Wayside Inn, which is where the two roads, which I can never remember what they're called, meet.
Tribor and something else.
Trail and High Road.
Maybe.
Oh, the
Possibly.
High Road down the coast?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
So, but that's also halfway between Phandalin and Leilon.
And just so the listeners and our subscribers that we have on this podcast, just to let you know that we had 5 people in our party. We had Fadewin, which was
four people. 4 people.
3 people.
3 people. That's right.
3 people?
And a bird and a cat.
Okay. Anyway, 5 characters.
And their pets.
We had Fadewin, which was a divine soul sorcerer played by one of our buddies. We had Isaac Ironhand, which was a wizard fighter war mage. I don't know. Anyway, gnome, pretty tough, kind of your tanky type character.
Yeah, he was.
Very tough.
We
Very
had
tough and lots of tricks.
yes, we had Petrus, which is Steve played.
Yes. It's a battle master
Yes.
/
Warlock.
Hexblade warlock.
Yes,
With a really cool accent.
Mm-hmm. You did your character was I've never seen a kind of a fighter hexblade warlock kind of combo, and you were very effective, Steve. It's
It was
pretty
fun.
impressive. And
Was.
Winko, which was our Aarakocra, and I have a lot to say about having Aarakocra in a campaign, but
Me too.
that was Rebeculus, and
That was fun.
Winko was a monk, Way of the Sun Soul.
That was
You
fun.
were-
And
you-
my last name. Don't forget my last name.
WYSIWYG.
Winko WYSIWYG.
Yes.
Yes.
You're kind of our tanky person. And then as a support character, I played a Tabaxi Bard at College of Lore called Happy Tracker Meow Meow.
But don't be confused by Happy Tracker because he wasn't a tracker.
Yes. Now, Paul, I'm sorry, Paul, to break your concentration here on so we visit the tavern. That's the start of the campaign, actually.
So you don't meet in a tavern.
Great start to a campaign. Always should start in a
You
tavern.
meet a tavern.
You're on the road, and then you I don't think we started it that way, but I don't remember what we did, so it doesn't matter. You end up at the Wayside Inn, which becomes very important later in the fun. Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, totally. We're gonna spoil
We'll
the
talk about
shit out
that
of it for
in
you.
the intro.
Sorry.
But
Sorry.
spoilers. So I chose this campaign because it was made for a newer DM, and the way it was structured was it says, here's this place that you're at, and for the at the Wayward Inn, it says like one zombie for each player character and one wraith for each 2-player characters when you arrive there. So it's easy to do the math.
I
It's not gonna be
I
too hard,
do-
it's not gonna be too easy.
Yeah, I do like that. Other campaigns actually don't have that, and the Essentials
Don't have
Kit does. Is it scales it up depending on the kind of the level and numbers of your characters. So that's rather unique, and I've seen it in Essential Kit adventures.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not all like that? Because I'm the only one of you four that us four that hasn't DM'd, and I always wondered how you choose how many.
No, even
Normally it's like this. You go, this should be the right amount. If it's too easy, you jack it up. If it's too much, you kill them all and start over
yes.
and learn from your mistakes.
Yes, it's like even the Essentials Kit doesn't do this. The Essentials Kit says there's this many twig blights. Well, they're just twig blights. Hopefully, you can beat twig blights, but there's this many. They don't say add for this many other players or however many players you have. It just says there's this many of these bad things, or there's a young green dragon. Oh no, that's the beginner set.
Yeah.
Or there's a young green dragon. They don't say, hey, if you only have 2 players, maybe they shouldn't go up against the young green dragon. So
there's scale in this one. It has
yes, it helps you. Instead of going at the end, I ended up going on D&D Beyond and using the encounter builder, and I made everything deadly because you guys were so good.
Is that what you did? Wow. Wow.
And
It seems hateful.
Bill. Also, Bill.
It's
Bill, are you
necessary sometimes. They can't keep getting away with this.
That's right. It's like, okay,
Right.
this took not long enough.
It is nice when there's a bit of a challenge.
So we do approach the Wayside Inn, and it's surrounded, as I recall, as we open up the story. I think that's how you had it.
When you open up the story, you're at the Wayside Inn, you see a crowd trying to get in, but there's zombies and wraiths. And so you have a choice. You can either attack or go along your merry way.
Or join them.
Which then ends
I
the
believe
story.
that. I believe
Yeah.
that was a hard decision for us, right?
I don't know what's going on over there, but I want no part of that.
Right.
No,
And so,
we attacked. We attacked.
Your party would fight the zombies and the wraiths and kill them and then go inside and be regaled as heroes. Also, though, if you are having trouble, the DM has the choice of the people inside the tavern opening up the windows and shooting out. Stuff like that.
Right.
Well,
And
why
of course,
didn't they do that in the first place? Stupid people in the tavern. They just sitting there watching us fight their battles for them. What was that about?
They were terrified.
Eh.
Let's imagine you're at the U.S. Capitol building. Wait, no.
yes. So I know that when you go through that and you go inside and you meet some of the characters, some of them have symbols of Talos. One wears a trident.
You'd only know that if you talk to them.
Right. But it does. What's really weird in this adventure is it sets off the two enemies, right, Paul?
Oh yeah, there's the followers of there's the cult of Talos, and there's the followers of Merkel.
Yes.
Did I do that? None of this is okay. I have to say, the whole Talos thing and the whole Merkel thing is not very fleshed out.
Right.
All of the characters, all of the NPCs are really fleshed out. So that's super nice.
Yeah, and I would
But-
say for anyone running this, because it gives you that, well, it could be Talos or it could be Merkel, but the whole adventure is geared towards Talos. You have to literally
Yes.
make up something for the Merkel stuff. So I don't know why this adventure throw that as a lead that you
I
could
think it's
follow.
another thing to do, and maybe as a distraction, and it's
Mhm.
a toy for the DM to play with.
What did you mean when you said they weren't completely fleshed out? You mean it didn't tell
Well,
like the
Talos, it's like, okay, this is all
background
about
of?
Talos, right? I tried researching Talos, and by
Okay.
researching, I mean
You were Googling.
I went on D&D Beyond and I searched
Yeah.
Talos.
Well, and I read the adventure after we were done, and I noticed that the whole thing is geared towards defeating this cult and the bad, the baddie at the end, this priestess of Talos, but nothing about Merkel or this undead cult. Even though,
there's almost zero about Merkel and the undead
right,
cult.
even though it has it there as a possible campaign lead, which
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I'm asking, Steve and Rebeculus this, but I believe at one point we went, "Hey, let's go try to find this undead problem that we have." But that didn't really go any. That didn't really go anywhere.
I think
Yeah.
I might have tried to redirect you.
You did. You
Yeah.
redirected us into finding, which was the next thing, which was
Well, and
lizard
I
folk.
just like to, I'll step in real
Mhm.
quick to
Yes.
say that, that's not always a bad thing. I mean,
Mhm.
in a lot of adventures, they're going to give you this like big, here's all the adventure. And a lot of times they'll throw out little kind of side questy things or little, this isn't really a main thing, but it's just really builds up some kind of lore or some, makes the situation seem less just linearly straightforward. And a lot of times parties will kind of veer off and the dungeon master lets them and starts just making stuff up, and it becomes a whole different part of the campaign. And that's kind of one of the beauties of the game
Yes.
is that it can derail so quickly, but it's just fine going to some other destination too.
Yes.
I
Or
just
if you don't want, then the DM just kicks you back over to the main rail they want.
Yeah.
I was
But
just
is it-
hoping there would be more information on Talos. My plan was to build on the whole Talos thing. And there's really not that much on Talos to help me understand what Talos wants or needs or what his history is. Assuming it's even a he.
Mhm.
Well, it's, I think, one of those. Talos is obviously not that powerful and important because we took him down. So
Exactly. Yes.
Well, just for
if we could beat him, he's not that noteworthy. So
so any of you trying to do this game or run this game, just remember you might have to. You always got to think on the fly as a DM, but you might want to think of possible scenarios if they decide to go for this other story arc, which is this Merkel thing, which there is no information on it whatsoever in the
Yeah.
campaign. And if you want to learn more about Talos, just like Still Paul talked about, you might have to do some research online if you're
or make
going
stuff
into
up.
or make
I'll
stuff
make
up.
stuff
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Right. Talos is a clown with a blue nose, and he shoots lightning from his butt.
Exactly.
There you go. That's our Talos. So from there, what did we go to
Well,
next?
you go inside the inn, and typically I'm not very good at guiding the players to talk to the people in the tavern. And almost zero of that happened. But there was a
Should
lot.
just do it anyway. We shouldn't need you to do that for us.
No,
Didn't we
this
do
is-
that? Didn't we talk to anybody?
We did. We talked to people.
Maybe we didn't want to. Did you ever think of that, DM?
Yeah,
maybe we
maybe
just
we
are
didn't.
an
Yeah.
antisocial adventuring club.
Exactly.
I seem to recall talking to somebody who talked like this.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of talking. You may have talked to Bax,
Backs.
Mhm.
Good old Backs.
but there was a whole lot of people in that tavern that could have been talked to, where you would have gotten more information that would have kind of guided you on things. But you just were distracted by other things going on, and that just didn't happen. So you picked up the girl that wanted to go to Leilon and left.
Oh yeah, with their goats or something like that.
No,
Yes.
that's a
Goat
different.
chick.
That's
That's
later.
that's a little
Oh.
later. Yeah. So for the DMs out there, you running it, probably you want to try to get the NPCs interact with the party. If the party is one of those types that are kind of shy to role playing, or they just want to kill things, try to get those NPCs to do some more engagements. I know that Steve's really good about that when we do when we play his games, where he'll throw an NPC to actually engage with us when we don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Staring at
half
each other.
of this tavern, half of this tavern is cultists of Talos.
Yeah. Yeah. So we go to Leilon.
Yeah,
And become heroes.
And
and outside the town, you find everybody from the town is is standing outside the town. Strangely,
yes.
what is going on here? This is very strange. And they're having a town meeting.
An
Yes,
out of town meeting.
Out of town meeting.
Yes, because their town is being ransacked by some bad people.
Yes.
I hate when that happens.
And there's a bit where you realize most of the children are missing that we didn't do, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, we knew about it. In fact, that was one of we talked about going into town to trying to find the.
No. There's most of the children are missing from the town meeting, and you have to round them up. I skipped that.
Thank you.
It didn't seem very functional for the whole thing or necessary.
I kind of remember the children's stuff.
Well, there's other children that were missing.
Yeah.
You were afraid it was going to turn really badly and we'd end up getting all the kids killed, weren't you?
Yeah.
Probably would have happened that way.
I didn't want to use my. Oh, that's right. I was a bard, so I love.
I didn't want to sing a song because
that's right. I didn't want to sing a
song.
So anyway, we rescued the town.
No, the people
right.
charge out of the town. There's some bad guys that charge out of the town.
Talos people.
Bad Talos people.
Yes.
Those are the ones on horses?
Yes, they had horses. They were chasing the children. Dark Tide Knights and archers. They came out of the town with wagons. So you fight those dudes, which of course you guys decimated because I was outmatched.
And I got fireballed.
You got
our own sorceress.
Yes,
that's
one of
right,
our players thought, wow, I'm going to use fireball, and not realizing the area of effect radius. So
radius, not diameter.
But that's how we learn. That's how we learn in D&D.
Yeah,
that's how we learn. I seem to recall a powder of coughing and sneezing that I made the same error with.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Thought it was straight ahead.
And so the great thing is, after this portion of it, when we're in Leilon, is there is some opportunities at downtime that I know Paul was allowed us to do. I think we set up our inside outside.
Yes, it's our our barrels with a plank between them serving alcohol in the town square.
Yes,
which we ended up calling the outside inn.
It's basically an inn.
And Paul, I don't know if you'll be able to
put it up. It's an inn and it's outside.
I don't know if you'll be able to put up the map, but the map of Leilon, where you can actually explore. I think the campaign does a pretty good job of kind of setting up the town. It talks about the, you got to fill some stuff in, but that's like any.
Well,
DM's
also you have to remember Leilon is being rebuilt by Lord Neverember,
right?
Because it was destroyed in the spell plague. There's basically a tower and a bunch of mostly ruined buildings around it.
Right.
You know, as I was reading this, excuse me, I'm looking at the map right now,
Mhm.
And I see that idle island, and I believe we briefly talked about it and just didn't care to go on it.
Yeah,
and I don't think anything would have happened, but in reading the adventure earlier today, there was some creepy stuff.
Yeah, we never did. I mean, we went to the town square. I think we went to the Lathander Shrine. We went to the shop, the peculiarity shop, and then
weird stuff shop.
And then we went to there is a mini adventure in there, which is the House of Thalavar that we did go to. And I don't know if that's.
Which I totally screwed up. I let you guys wander around the town and decided to go talk to this guy. And I hadn't even read that part. of the adventure.
It is a side quest, and I mean, if you're running this game, characters are gonna love going because they're gonna see it's like, oh, a wizard's tower and no one's went to. Of course, they're gonna go to it. So
Yeah.
you might
It
want to
could be
bone up on
amazing.
it and add some things to it. And but we did go in there.
We ended up having a family reunion because Steve's character and
Cousin.
yeah,
Yes.
and the guy working
That's
there
right.
were from the same country.
Nice.
Yes.
So
Always pays to know a guy.
that helped a lot. That actually helped a
Yes.
lot. It's like, oh my God, we're cousins.
So
we could make this happen.
So there's a time once you get through the saving Leilon where there's a little bit of downtime, a little bit of a side quest, but then it kicks up again where and Paul, you can talk about this, is how the characters of the party are giving a quest to aid Phandalin.
Yes. Oh, by the way, you have to go back to Phandalin, from which you just came from. Which, okay, it was fun. You have to deliver these goats to Phandalin and bring back some supplies.
Not just any goats, folks.
Giant goats.
Giant goats.
Giant
goats.
screaming goats.
Yes, which there's a point where you're attacked by flying things.
Wyverns.
Wyverns? Was it wyverns?
Wyverns. Yeah,
Wyverns.
wyverns. Yeah.
That's right.
Or they see the wyverns. You aren't really attacked.
Oh, and they get freaked out and run away.
Yes, but everybody made their check, and so it ended up not being fun at all. So it was supposed to be this crazy sort of chasing the goat sort of thing.
And keep in mind, what's not fun to Paul is that he didn't kill us all.
Hey, no, I only want.
But
to
it
kill
was
one
fun
person.
for
We'll
us.
get into that. We're going to talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
There's just one character I want to kill. But it was like
He doesn't want to kill us. He just really wants to inconvenience us and maybe
Exactly,
irritate us.
Yes.
it would have been more fun if everybody didn't make their checks, because you just kind of gathered the goats and went along your merry way.
Sorry,
Oh.
we roll awesomely.
So
Yeah.
there are on this particular quest when you're going to Phandalin trying to herd these goats and go in that direction. I guess you're a bunch of cowboys, right? With your
You are a bunch of
cattle or
cowboys.
goats. You also
Goat
deal
boys.
with ogres. And I don't know, Paul, because I can't remember this part. I don't know. You could as DM, you could throw in some other baddies in there too, if you wanted
Yeah.
to. It does allow the DM to kind of add some more stuff to it.
Yeah, well, you can always add stuff in whenever you want, right? And I did that later in the campaign, as you know. But
Yes.
so I was like, yeah, I was more concerned with the upcoming battle in Phandalin than I was with the goat thing.
Right. And then we arrived in
Well, I was a
Phandalin, and
little
then what
nervous
happened
about
then?
the whole thing. So I was not making the traveling to and from too complicated, because I was too distracted by the upcoming battle.
Yeah. Well, and that's not bad. I mean, one of the big things when you're DMing is also kind of reading the room. And if it's like you're presenting some type of challenge and people are just kind of like, it's not engaging or it's just not working the way you want to, it's never a bad idea to just kind of cut things short and go, okay, this is done. We're going to move on to something maybe that'll work a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, or if it's this minor scene is becoming something everybody's really engaged in and it's cool things are happening, stupid things are happening, just drag it out more. You kind of, but you can, it's always good to, and you did find that, just play it by ear and just read the room, see how your players are reacting to things and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah. So
Yeah, a lot of these ways you're telling us you didn't do this or you think you fucked up on that. Sorry for the language. I'm sorry. We didn't even notice. I didn't notice.
Good.
I thought it was fluid and
yeah.
great. And,
Good.
yeah.
So we basically just we're traveling to Phandalin, right? Or were there was
I think
ogres?
we
So-
dealt with the ogres, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we arrive in Phandalin.
You deliver the goats.
Yes.
We set up another inn. No, we didn't.
No,
Did we? No,
God.
not there.
Okay, we always
We have a lot of real estate.
Watching, we always have to have an inn. I'm like the
Or
only party
two.
member who doesn't want to have an end for some reason. It just seems
The
like so much
irony.
work, especially after that thing that we did in Waterdeep. What was that?
Oh,
Troll
the
Skull.
Dragon
Manor?
heist
Troll
with
Skull,
the
yeah.
Troll Skull Manor. Yeah.
No, it's
Actually,
just
I'm
so much
thinking you
work.
guys should branch out and have like maybe golf resorts next.
We should have golf
Ooh,
resorts.
yes. Be great.
We should definitely do that.
Eric Coker loved to play golf.
Do
I don't know if you knew that.
they have hands?
canon.
I don't know how Eric Coker worked. Do they have
No,
hands?
no.
How do they hold their
We don't need
weapons?
hands. Hands are stupid. I don't
No,
know.
that's right. You were a
There's
monk.
special little feathery things. Yeah, I didn't really have
They
a.
have
I had a
prehensile
quarterstaff,
talons.
but
So we're at Phandalin, and
we just told you.
yes, we ended up
yeah,
delivering the
what hap-
goats to an individual who ended up being what, a Talos person, or
No, you go and you pick up some supplies at a couple places. One of the places, one of the staff members that you see running around, being helped by goblins, I believe,
mhm.
is a follower of Merkel. Am I saying
Yes.
that right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Merkel.
you are.
Okay.
You are.
Sounds-
When you're the DM, however you say it is correct.
okay.
Mhm.
But we didn't really catch on to that.
Right, and in our campaign, it's not Merkel, it's Urkel.
It's
So
Urkel.
completely different and
Because
not
we
very
went for those
threatening.
stupid jokes. Because I'm a silly person, and I ended up making this silly. And also, Merkel was there's the undead person, and there's the follower of Thanos.
Yeah, that
Right,
was the
yeah,
Merkel people were the
Talos.
undead.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a vampire
They were
spy named
kobolds, though.
Urgus Skeel, if you might
Okay.
recall.
My notes were terrible. It was months ago.
It
So
was a long time ago.
anyway, it ends up with you gather all of the supplies you're supposed to bring back to finish your quest in the morning, and then you get attacked by two different gangs,
Right.
which I was stressing over entirely. I read the instructions a number of times. I think I even watched a YouTube video about how to run a three-way battle. And you guys just
Right.
destroyed them. Like they were
Nice.
Right. And I'll read quickly what Paul is talking about is when the characters are packing up to take the supplies back to Leilon at the end of their visit, the spies from both the cult of Talos and the followers of Merkel independently decide they are too big of a threat to let live. And that's when, as Paul, the DM, had to figure out this three-way battle.
Oh, that's a toughie. That sounds like difficult for
I mean, what it was supposed
a DM.
to do,
Is it or not really?
well, it would have been, but you guys were too good. Bill. Usually, I don't know if it was Bill that time, but maybe Steve. Steve's good at killing.
Yeah.
So it's like what I was supposed to do was, if it looks bad for you guys, I was supposed to make them fight each other. And I was thinking, since there were so many enemies, it was going to get bad for you guys. But you guys just toasted both bad guys, and it's like, okay, well, that's done. Let's go.
Now,
Yeah,
Bill?
there can be like 3 minutes between I'm going to murder everybody and where are the rest of my guys. This is
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Did I hurt anybody? Yeah, things can turn really fast.
And luckily, in the campaign, there's actually a description to help the DM. It's called "Running a Three-Sided Battle." You could try to follow it. It helps you. And again, I just side comment. This is just another example how this campaign throws in this Merkel and the followers of Merkel, yet does nothing to kind of flesh out that campaign, and could cause your characters, your party that you're DMing, to go elsewhere. So again, if you're a DM, you might want to have something pulled out of your butt
Well,
in case they go down that path.
I think they're seeding something in the next two campaigns.
That could be. Yeah. That could be
So I think that's really all they're trying to do is seed this next thing that's going to happen.
right.
Because there's two more campaigns after this that are simultaneous, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't read them.
Right.
And if we had played Dragon of Icespire Peak, I think the whole Talos thing would have made more sense. But we didn't, because that's sprinkled with Talos things, which we ended up playing anyway.
And then after Fandolin, we ended up. I don't know how we did this, still, Paul, but I know in the next chapter, and this is called Foul Weather Wayside Inn. I don't know if there's this inn that's in between both Fandolin and Leilon, and
Yes.
on the way back, I think something happens there.
Yeah, well, it's not on the way back. You get back to Leilon, finish your delivery, and then you hear that there's trouble, and these then weird storm clouds in that direction.
Yeah, that's right.
So
The weather turns really
weird to the northeast.
Right, because of Talos.
Because you are required in this game to go to and from Fandolin like 19 times.
Right.
The Wayside Inn is really for the most of the campaign the central point, not Leilon.
Right. And there's a beautiful map there that you can also use for any other inn if you want to use it for another
it's
adventure.
A great map.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of my most fun parts, was heading up to the Wayside Inn when it's surrounded by this lightning storm. Because, there's you fight some myrmidons, air elemental myrmidons, when you get to the storm. But if they're inside the storm, they have a disadvantage on attacking them. If they're outside the storm, then they're regular. But
I believe you get hit. You have a choice of like praising or giving a prayer to Talos.
After you
there's where you find your integrity or not.
Yes,
right
you
there.
You find out from talking to the woman soldier there that if you're willing to pray to Talos, you can pass through the storm unharmed. But if you don't pray to Talos, you have to roll a d6.
Right. Now, I think at this point, this is for a DM, this is great, especially if you have a cleric maybe in your party or a paladin.
Or a monk.
See what they do. And if they actually do pray to Talos, you can maybe poke them if they're not a follower of Talos, if you really wanted to do that. For my character, Bard, which I didn't have any ties to anyone, I said, well, I'll sing a song to Talos, but I rolled so poorly that it didn't matter anyway. So I got blasted, but that's D&D for you.
So everybody rolls a d6, and that's the number of times you get hit by lightning on your way to the Wayside Inn.
Yeah. And I don't know where Rebeculus and Steve, what did you guys do? You decided?
No, I wasn't going to pray to Talos. That's
nobody.
Only the weak would do that. Only somebody of low moral standards and
that being said,
only a cat with a banjo.
Rebeculus would have prayed to Talos, but my character has more integrity than I do. So
yes. Well, I was a cat with a banjo.
It's just lightning.
Didn't work for me.
Can't handle getting hit by lightning. What are you even doing?
Well, unfortunately, when Rebecca's character got hit by some lightning a few times with like maximum damage.
I got my feathers singed more than once in this campaign.
We decided that your feathers were removed.
Yes.
So we arrive at the Wayside Inn, and we got a few other things. We're actually 2 chapters away from the end here, but anyway, foul weather at Wayside. We get there, and
there's another crowd outside the inn.
What do you know?
Well, there's like, are they trying to get in? I don't know what's going on.
Right, not undead this time.
No, oh wait, it's townspeople who are staked against the inn as a sacrifice with tridents.
Oh, that was morbid.
That was sad. Yeah.
And the book actually says they're trying to pull themselves off.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm just going to let that hang.
Nice.
And they have, they've got very few hit points. And so you're faced with a choice. If you try to remove the tridents, it will cause damage to them. But you don't know that.
Right.
Or you could heal them and try to remove the tridents, and maybe they'll survive. Removing
you could heal them around the tridents and leave them stuck to there, but at least they're okay.
That's right.
There's always a third choice.
And the doors have glyphs of warding on them, so that's also a problem. So then you have to get in. I don't remember what you guys did to get in.
We did something clever,
I-
and I can't remember what
I think
it
we
was.
removed the glyph somehow and
Well,
got in.
We went in the
Doug
back
wanted to
door.
scratch it
Yeah,
off.
there's 2 doors, right?
Yeah.
We went around. I thought.
I don't
Yeah,
remember how
I
we got by the
Well, there's a
glyph.
number
I
of
remember the
reasons.
glyph being out the front and somebody running out
There-
the front and blowing up.
Yeah, yes, and also there's 2 doors. There are 2 doors were glyphed. The two main ways in were glyphed. Then there's windows and stuff. I think you might have gotten a window or something.
Probably.
And then inside the inn, there is a bunch of chanting and stuff. The guy who you thought was your friend Bax is leading all that.
Oh, still our
And
friend.
He's class gladiator. And so they're doing all this chanting there, but there's a bunch of cultists.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have to defeat the cultists. You have a limited number of time to defeat them. If you just stand and watch, then all of the storming and all that stuff gets worse.
Right. Because you need to defeat them before the ritual is done.
Yes, because they're trying to give power to Talos.
Right. And reading this, after 10 minutes have passed, the ritual has been completed. The characters can still defeat the enemies, but they must now deal with the weather until they defeat Stormsworn. The weather along Sword Coast grows more and more volatile. Land travel becomes difficult as days pass and seas become rough. You, as a DM, can make the consequences of this foul weather as great or severe as you wish. And I believe we failed. If
No, I
I'm
think you
not
did it.
mistaken, or did we make it within
I
the 10
needed
minutes?
I needed to direct your path, so I needed to keep you away from the caves.
Right.
So I made up some stuff. This is where I started really making up stuff.
But we went to the caves, didn't we?
You did go to the caves, but I
Okay.
didn't want you to go to the caves now because
Right.
you would die.
Right. And so one of the things in this particular chapter, and this is what I think, Paul, that you complained about, was the fact that you're given a map.
Oh, well, not yet. You go downstairs and you find a statue of Talos.
Right.
And
Well,
then if you're lucky, you find a map.
right. But
Oh,
when
we forgot to mention in the 3-way battle, the Talos follower has these magic glasses.
Yeah.
right.
And then you find a map in the basement of the Wayside Inn. And this, I'm sorry, only Doug would appreciate this. This is where I was going to really make this like National Treasure, the movie. Because that's really the plot of National Treasure, the movie. Is on the back of the Declaration of Independence, there's a map that you can only really see with magic glasses. But none of you had seen it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So
so a DM who has a party who has seen that movie could really make this like a Nicolas Cage movie.
so I just want
Also,
to
the magic glasses could be blue on one and red on the other, and it becomes a 3D.
Exactly. Or there's in the movie there's flippy up things to keep changing that. But
So I'm going to read this to you. The map shows a sketch of the Sword Coast between Waterdeep and Neverwinter. Dozens of points are highlighted on the map, representing places where the Cult of Talos hopes to establish shrines. A defeat here sets those plans back for months, if not years. Now, this is what causes a little bit of frustration if you're a DM like Still Paul, because we're a bunch of characters and we want, it's D&D. We like to go after things and get treasure. We start going after each of these sites.
well, no, wait. There's no map.
Well, that's the other thing too, is there's no map, but it says here there's a map. You had to make a map.
I had to make a map, so I just took the map from the Sword Coast that was from Stormlord's Wrath, which I didn't even look at, which contained all of the stuff.
Well, there's your first tip. If you're going to be a new DM and you're running things, look at stuff.
Yeah, which contained all of the stuff from Icespire Peak, which we didn't play and I didn't read.
Right. So as if you're going to DM this, make sure that have a map, and you might not want to, you can put different stuff in there, but remember your party might go there and you're going to have to come up with something, which is okay. It's D&D.
But then I thought, this is great. We can extend this out a bit. And some of the stuff sounds Talosy, and
Right.
and some of it was Talosy. But then I had to take these 3rd level encounters and level them up to like 8th level to
Right.
make them challenging. Otherwise, it would just be stupid.
Right. Now, because we, if you want to, Paul, and the rest of you want to go really briefly, because we ended up, that's what ended up happening is we had this map and we ended up going different places, which took us off the campaign a little bit on these side quests.
100%.
But we don't have a lot of time. So if you want to go talk briefly about it, it was kind of fun. We had some fun adventures.
It was definitely fun. I mean, there's Circle of Thunder. That sounds Talosy. Talos is lightning and thunder, right?
Mhm.
We went up there, and there was a bunch of anchorites of Talos, and you guys destroyed them very easily, which was very frustrating. You fought the White Dragon because in Icespire Peak, you roll a die whenever the players get somewhere, and it's a D20, and if that number matches the location, then the dragon is there. Well, I just happened to roll that. I didn't cheat that one. And then you fought the dragon. And then you decided to go off to the dragon's lair, which had no treasure and no adventure in it at all, really.
Yes.
So we claimed the lair.
Yes,
That's right.
As one of your things.
That's right. We everything we conquered, we said this is ours. So we had a little real estate
Yes.
business going on.
We do. We should get a portfolio going on.
You also went to the Woodland Manse from Icespire Peak, and that was kind of more fun because it was a little bit more challenging
I don't remember that.
and more interesting.
Right. So if you're running this does give you an opportunity as DM to do these little side quests. If because the map shows up, you can put in different places on there. You don't have to. You could just put in the next chapter that you're supposed to go to, which is these caves.
Yeah.
But Paul, I know that you can as a DM, because the essentials kit and the starters kit, you actually drew from little mini quests and adventures that from Dragon of the Icespire Peak and Lost Mines of Fandalir.
Yeah.
Fandalir, that you
We
can
played
actually
Lost Mines of Fandelver.
Fandelver.
I
Sorry.
only pulled one thing out of that, and that's the dragon. The Venom Fang, which when we were playing that, the Bard, which was the only player that carried over into this campaign,
Yes, that's me.
said some BS to the dragon,
Mhm.
rolled a 20, and got to walk away. And basically lied to the dragon about killing somebody, a druid, I think.
Yep.
And then the druid wasn't dead, and the dragon figured it out that he was lied to. So I decided that this dragon has been searching for this bard this whole time.
And we totally would have handed over the bard for a reasonable, bribe, but the dragon was too cheap.
Dragon was too cheap. The dragon wanted to say, "Okay, give me the kitty bard, and I'll let you live." But they didn't, and then they defeated the dragon.
Now, if he would have threw some gold in there, I probably would have been toast.
Should have thrown some gold in there. The dragons don't have pockets.
How do you know?
I decided as DM, dragons don't
Maybe
have pockets.
some of them wear overalls and they do have pockets. When I'm a DM.
So the party decided not to hand over Happy Tracker Meow Meow, which was very sad.
It's not sad.
Right.
He healed us so much. No, that's mean.
Yeah, well, he used spells and stuff.
Be nice to animals.
So in order to, and this is good that you're doing different things, because eventually at the very end, which is Thunder Cliffs, which is the last chapter in this adventure, you need to be at, I think, level 9. So this kind of, you're bouncing around. The side quest, the House of Thalavar, which I had mentioned, is a good way for your characters to get some experience and some loot. There's the Missing Patrol, which is what we were going to try to do is go check out this undead, and Paul threw in,
because there's so many things that can happen. That was the night of many tabs, because there's like 6 or 7 different things that can happen depending on what I roll.
Right, and the
I
missing
have all of these monsters prepared.
Well, just before you talk about it, let's set it up. The Missing Patrol is literally trying to find a missing patrol that was captured by lizard folk in the Dead
Yes.
Mirror. And
Yeah,
these
the trailer
lizard
said-
folk are actually being forced by these trolls to capture these people. So we had to use diplomacy, but it ended up being a good thing. So
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's Wong T scouts. There's a pit of snakes. There's quicksand and alligators. There's a troll brawl. There's Hydra
Damn.
wranglers and a Hydra. There's all the stuff that could happen. And I had to have all this stuff open, and I ended up doing 2 of them because, again, you guys are too good at Dungeons and Dragons, and it was too easy. Maybe I did 3 of them. No, I did 2 of them. I did Troll Brawl, I know.
Yeah.
And I think Pit of Snakes.
Don't remember.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
don't remember. I
It's
said
all good.
this so long, I don't remember what we actually did. But
right.
it's totally cool because I love random. That's one of the things I love about D&D is like sometimes random happens.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, random is great. But then when you have to plan 5 different battles
Right.
for one
Yeah.
night, it's a little bit intimidating.
So the House of Thanavar and Missing Patrol, again, these are just kind of side quests to get your characters prepared and leveled up before you get to the main one, the last one, which is Thunder Cliffs, which the setup is, I believe, is you finally find out, and this is through the map, where the main cult headquarters is at. I
Yes.
believe. And
Through the
Paul,
map,
do you want to
they
take
don't
it from there?
Can I actually say something before Paul
Yeah.
goes into it? Is again something I didn't know because this didn't happen to us. On the way there, remember I was trying to go it by land, and everyone else wanted to get one of the boats, which is I believe what we ended up doing is going by boat because apparently you can't really get
Okay.
to it from the cliffs.
Well,
Right.
it's like 1,000 feet down, and
Well, I didn't know there was a flock of evil Aarakocra up there on the
there
cliffs.
are, and there's a
waiting
bunch
to
of
get
harpies
us.
up there. Yeah.
I'm sad that I didn't get to interact with that with my evil brethren. I didn't know they
Yeah.
were up there. But that being said, the boats were cool too.
Yeah,
cool stuff
in
happened.
fact, when I read, now I know why Paul did that, because it kind of, the adventure forces you to try to either use these boats, and you
Well,
have
you
to
would've-
choose between these 2 boat captains, a Tabaxi and a Dragonborn.
Which
The
one?
good
did we
boat captain
choose?
or the really crappy boat captain. We of course picked the really crappy
Adventurous.
boat captain.
No,
Yes.
adventurous and daring. That's not crappy.
Yes.
The
That's
Dragonborn was a Talos follower.
I finally, you know what? I read that and I went, yeah, in your face.
yeah. Yeah.
We
So
picked
there
the
was
right
this
one.
where, there's a Tabaxi boat captain, the
Mhm.
lady Tabaxi boat captain, and we have a Tabaxi bard, and they're trying to negotiate which boat they should get.
Yes. Now this is a interesting part of the adventure because I'm not quite sure. You could pick the Dragonborn or you could pick the Tabaxi, but the result was exactly the
It
same in
doesn't matter.
adventure. It doesn't matter. So for the DM, if you want to add some little spice into it, which Paul did, you can, but just you could pick either or, and it gets you to the same place,
Yes.
which is basically a mutiny, and I guess you run into a ghost ship.
But of
Which
course,
was
if we'd
good.
have chosen the other one, not the Tabaxi, we wouldn't have had the awesome Tabaxi almost X-rated scenario that we had in our campaign.
We wouldn't have had to stand by
was
with
pretty-
buckets of water. No.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
pretty
awkward.
PG.
It was awkward.
Right. Great role playing, Academy Award.
Yeah, I think
Role-playing.
I think that was good role playing. But
That's right.
so then also you fight the ghost ship,
Mm-hmm.
which you guys destroyed, and then you have to get in the rowboat because you can't get closer, and you get attacked by an invisible stalker,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Yep.
which is supposed to try to upend the rowboat. The adventure doesn't give you any data or stats for rolling or anything or how that works. So you kind of have to make that up on your own, which was a little bit frustrating
Right.
because I thought that would be cool if you guys are already knocked in the water. I mean, do Aarakocras swim?
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
Mhm.
that wouldn't have been cool.
There would
No.
be some rolling.
Not
and
sorry
and
that didn't
maybe-
happen.
Maybe some drowning. But I
Yeah.
decided to, I rolled the die to see how well it hit the boat, and it didn't roll great. So I just decided it didn't really tip it
Right. And then the
That's kind of standard
over.
yeah.
for most things that don't have explicit rules. I rolled a die, they rolled low, so nothing happened.
Exactly.
Or
And the final chapter, which is Thunder Cliffs, and I don't know if you want to put up the map or not. You basically have two places where you can land your rowboat, and we picked the one with the ship on it, the ship that's already there,
Yes.
and then bad things happen because there were
Well,
people,
it was a ship full of disgruntled workers, which you could have just talked to.
and we didn't.
But
we, if they would
Thanks
have
to Steve.
listened to what I told them, nothing bad would have happened.
I don't remember what you told them.
Because Steve decided to do a Leroy Jenkins.
No, I told them. I don't remember what I told them, but I basically told them, know your place, get down, whatever. I figured I would get them to back off, and they took exception to that.
You talked to them
Yes.
aggressively.
Yes.
If you were,
Yes.
if you guys were nice at all, they would have just walked away.
If you would have used that Northwest passive aggressive talk, maybe things would have been differently. But you were aggressive.
If I would have actually walked to a real ship full of disgruntled people in real life in the Pacific Northwest, I totally would have been passive aggressive with them, but I was not there.
Yes.
I was in
Uh,
Peru.
Now, and the whole point of this particular adventure, of course, is to get to the baddie at the end. But before you do that, there are a little strange side quests on here, I guess, on the way, like some hags that,
Yeah, there's some sea hags.
which,
Oh,
yeah, we could have haggled with, but we didn't. We
Oh,
ended
yeah,
up
you
Haggled.
killing them.
Haggled.
Huh?
You
Like
have
that?
to entertain
Yeah.
them.
Yes, and we didn't. We just killed them.
Oh man, we could have entertained them. Darn
I
it.
know.
Oh well.
I read there. It's like, oh, that was a missed opportunity. Oh well.
Yeah,
If we only had an entertainer with us.
Gosh.
exactly.
I know, right?
So yeah, there's the sea hags. Where are we at here? Encounters along the way.
Mhm.
There is the sick drow dude.
Yep.
Um,
Who's another
Yes.
disgruntled person that would kind of help us if we healed him, and
yeah,
but you don't know that. We didn't know that.
you don't know that. There is the weird blowhole.
So let's pause on that because I read about this, and this is something that could cause a DM some anxiety.
No, I thought it was great. I was really hoping somebody would go in the blowhole.
Because if you do this right, you end up getting plane shifted
Yes.
Nice. If you're lucky.
to the elemental
I mean,
plane of water.
We did this, but the rolls were
But what was the other option? There's another option. You'd pop up into Waterdeep or something like that,
yes, exactly.
right?
In the
Yes.
water outside Waterdeep.
Was that your thing, or was that was in there?
Oh, that's in there.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So DMs out there, just be aware if that's what you want to do, come up with something because after that because you're not going to come back. You're the
No.
elemental plane of water. You
My
got to deal with
character's
it.
gone for now.
I like what we did to Steve's campaign and Mad Mage, where we just kind of went off and did our own thing, and now he's got to deal with the consequences
That's fine.
of our crazy actions. So
You do whatever you're gonna do. I'll sort it out for you.
there you go.
I enjoyed the mixing of the campaigns. So you guys had an open world sort of a thing. It was hard, but I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And then at the end, you fight the big bad,
Mm-hmm.
Gadrill the Rift Reaver, and Evoker. And she's got 2 hellhounds. But
And we
again,
beat her. We won.
yeah, you guys are so good at Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. It wasn't that challenging for you. I'm sorry, Steve, you missed it.
Well,
Can tell he's crushed.
we leveled up too.
It was kind of a thud.
Yeah.
It was a-
Well, this does allow you to go on to the next adventure, which is what is it called?
There's
Paul?
2 of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm scrolling. No one's
Scrolling,
tapping for me.
scrolling.
Ah, yes. Continuing this story. which is strange. It doesn't name the adventure when it says
No,
continuing the
it doesn't
story,
called.
but you can go into Sleeping Dragon's Wake, which is levels 9 through 11, and then afterwards you can go Divine Contention, which is levels 11 through 13, and this is all part of the Dungeons and Dragons Essentials kit. You
Yeah.
get a code to do that. So the big question: what'd you guys think about it? Yes, no? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. I would recommend they add a map. Since that's the big thing for revealing where the bad guys are. I will never get over that for something.
No, you will not.
So what I did was I made a map, and then I did some drawing on that map, virtually, obviously, because of the pandemic. And then I had to keep moving things around because I didn't really read the adventure. It became confusing about where these cliffs should be, which are not on the map that I used. So I had to move those a couple times, but not a big deal. It was fine.
Right. Rebeculous, what'd you think?
I liked it. I liked the length of it. Well, I liked my character, but that's as far as the adventure, it had a little bit of everything. It had some water, it had some land, of course it had inns.
2 dragons.
Ours had a mountain and some dragons. No, I liked it.
But
I liked
he
it a
had to
lot.
add he did have to add the dragons.
I had to add the dragons. Almost never dragons.
That's good.
Yes, but I didn't know that.
Yes, you didn't know that. Yeah.
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 Oh, I liked it. I thought it was great. That was great.
Okay. Our very experienced and D&D consultant Steve, what'd you think about this adventure and your recommendations to future DMs on this one?
Yeah,
As a player,
I think
for-
especially for newer DMs, it's really good. I like it's kind of got that classic. It's not like a on rails adventure, but it's got an overarching plot and a lot of extra content you can do, and you can kind of take it in different orders and whatnot. And I like adventures that aren't too scripted. I think it's a good basic adventure for especially for newer DMs. It's got some neat ideas. It's got a bunch of neat encounters and places, and that's kind of what an adventure's for.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I had fun playing it.
I liked it too. I had real fun playing a bard on it. The positive is that it gives you instructions how to scale up. It does give you some side quests in there that you can do or not do. Good narrative. You know who you're fighting. The downside is it threw in Merkel, which kind of will cause some anxiety to a new DM if they don't know how to react to it. So my advice is either A, leave it off, or B, create some little side quests dealing with that particular issue. The other thing is the map. I mean, the map was kind of a big deal because you find this map which kind of guides you to the main Talos forces that you're supposed to defeat, but it also has these other sites. So if I were a DM, if you want to kind of narrow it, don't put so many sites, or if you do have sites, be prepared, have some side quests.
Yes.
Because what happened to Still Paul was he had to create a bunch of side quests, which were fun. We had a really good time.
I cheated. I pulled them off of things that from the
Right,
area
but-
we didn't play.
But there is no.
But that's
cheating.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
no cheating.
your job is to cheat.
It
The
is,
world
yeah.
exists 'cause you cheat.
And I did cheat a little bit, like when you encountered. I didn't really do random encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna fight giants now. I'm gonna roll a die, and we're gonna fight giants.
Right, and
Stuff
the
like
great
that.
thing is the previous adventures that are in the Essentials kit, you actually can draw from that and create these side quests. So you don't, as a DM, you don't have to have that anxiety. You don't have to worry. It's pre-packaged for you in there. You just find you put an X on a map that relates to a different adventure. I do that with my homebrew. I'll put something in there, and it's actually a chapter or a side adventure in another campaign, and I did that, and I know Steve has done that, and it works out. So as a DM, don't be freaked out if you have to come up with something, because there are ways to make it easier for you.
It's like my main thing is I just love playing with you guys. You guys are so much fun, and you have such great characters. It's like I loved Steve's character with his Baba,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and
Which was the name of his sword, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah, Bill's
It's my
character
great
with
great
his,
great 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 grandmother in that blade.
that's
yeah.
right.
Bill's character with his gnome that becomes a giant.
Oh yes, he's a big one. That's
Mhm.
great.
Well, when Eric Coker is always weird. Um, I don't-
Wow, thanks for the compliment.
Eventually, I'll figure out how their movement works. How Doug was always in the other room. When
As a sorcerer, he never,
I
he
stay
never
in
came
this
too
room and check
close.
my fireball into that
he was
room. where
very,
you
he
guys
played very, very smart.
I wasn't used to that from
Meow
him.
Meow.
He's usually in the front all the time doing his
Yeah.
thing. But yeah.
Happy Tracker Meow Meow was great flirting with you.
Wonderful, not awkward at all. So anyway, that's it for this adventure. Thank you all so much for listening and watching our show. If you want to contact us, again, you can email us at geeksofcascadia@gmail.com. We have Facebook at Geeks of Cascadia. We have Twitter at Geeks of Cascadia. Is that all, Paul?
We have
or
a
do we
phone
have anything?
number that I don't have written down.
We have a phone number, which is really weird for a podcast, but we do have one.
Oh, wait, it's 208-61-GEEKS.
There you go.
Again, that's just voicemail. You can leave us a message. And please, if you
Mhm.
know how Eric Coker movement works, please call me and let me know because I really want to do this better.
Yes. We are currently in a campaign, an Undermountain campaign, though it kind of goes all over the place, and it's
So you
very
haven't been
fun.
in Undermountain in a long
We had
time.
a long time, so I don't know if we're gonna do a review of it because it's weird. Hopefully, we get back there. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm having fun. It doesn't matter. But we will do we are going to do a future review of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yes.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll go into that, and so stay tuned for that. So, does anyone have any final thoughts before we go?
I just want to thank you all for your patience. You guys are great.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time on Behind the DM Screen.
Yep.
We are so informative. Don't you guys think? Don't you guys think the Eric Coker information was the best of
No.
all of that? in
I
there?
think we
that
learned
was-
that not to have an Eric Coker in the camp.
You learned not to have an Eric Coker in your party.
It's a
Yes.
challenge. I think that was fun. I think we covered everything.
Well, it was kind of fun having to constantly make up the rules for how Eric Cokers move.
That's why I did
Yes.
it, to challenge
It
you.
was a little
And
Buddy.
what happens when they get hit by lightning and the effect of fire on feathers,
A,
stuff like
a
that.
lot. It just happened so much.
It happened a lot.
I lost so many feathers.
Well,
No, that was a good review. It was long, but I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, if
because-
you're gonna play a role-playing game for weeks and weeks, an hour is not too bad to.
Yeah.
It's hard to summarize all that,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
So, still, Paul, are you, we still have our gang when are we planning to go back to that at all? Or,
Sure. I mean,
What's the idea?
I was tired of DMing, but because I got DM burnout,
Mhm.
but I'm missing
Sure.
DMing already.
I sort of feel like when the campaign ends, the characters still live on and are just doing
Well, they do.
things while we're
They
on
do.
other campaigns. There's
No,
Well,
that
you
would be
know-
called downtime, and I don't understand downtime.
well, you know what we
I don't
could
really
do?
either.
What we could do is when Candlekeep Adventures come out, we could you could just pull out one of those.
Sure. I'm torn
Why
with
not?
Candlekeep Adventures. Do I want to read it? Do I want to just play it and not know?
I feel like I would change my character though, still Aarakocra, but like you said, Hobbs, during the break, maybe a penguin. So Polly wouldn't have to deal with the flight issue. Just lower my speed a little.
What I
obviously.
liked is you didn't
But-
take advantage of the flight because you can't. If a player has a character that flies, you can really take advantage of that and kind of.
I didn't even think about it until Paul
lopsided.
had issues with it. I didn't even
No,
know.
you did. You did a good job. Because some players can go, okay, I can fly, so I'll just whenever we're fighting anyone, I'll just fly high enough and just lob arrows, and I'll never get hit. So
Well, if I'd have known that, I
This is
would
why
have.
we need to know the rules for
done that.
yes,
Jeremy
Yes.
Crawford, figure this out.
Yes, he's listening right now. I'm
I
sure.
tweeted him.
sure he is. Sure he is.
Anything else?
I don't think I have anything else. I am looking forward to Monday though.
Me too.
The game that we've got going. Also, I've done some writing for the other when we go back to my campaign. So I've got
Cool.
something stirred up there, especially for you, Rebeculus. So,
Yeah, you got some hot scenes between me and Jess. Oh, my character got all kidnapped and whatnot. Oh,
yes,
poop.
your character
Uh-oh.
did.
Uh-oh.
Rescue that
by a
character.
succubus. That's what
Yeah.
happens
Oh,
when you
geez. Oh, really?
when you
I
follow
just-
your heart and not your head. That's what happens.
You end up with a succubus.
I did the old
Might be okay.
what do you call it? The honey bucket trick. There you go. Yep,
I
she's gonna go for
fell
it.
right in.
Yep, I knew it.
You did.
Didn't
And
even hesitate. I go. I bet she wouldn't even hesitate. Didn't you?
no, I could tell by the way you were asking too. You're like, "Are you gonna go with her?" And I'm like, "Yep, I am."
Kidnapped.
Well, just remember the first
Right.
3 letters in succubus. Okay, never mind.
All right. Anyway, does anyone have anything else?
I got nothing. Although OrcaCon badges for 2022 are on sale now.
Oh my stars!
Go to orcacon.org because we're super hopeful that this will be better by then.
And if it is, everyone, probably even more people than ever before, are going to want to physically go to this thing.
Yes, and
definitely.
they're going to meet us.
This
and shake our
is going to
hands,
be
for
like
real.
Yes.
tickets are going to be flying if we're all allowed
and
to.
hopefully we'll all be vaccinated by then. That'd be great.
I have faith that we will.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. So I'll just sign off with saying, embrace the nerd.
Not really, though. Just do the elbow.
And I hope you make that saving throw. You can talk about your stupid Aarakocra. There you go. Oh, did I say that?
3, 2,
out loud?
1.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
did.
All right.
You
Here we
did.
go.
My stupid Aarakocra that you keep healing. So you
I
must
do.
really like
I
me.
do. Well, my character, Happy Tracker Meow Meow, loves the Aarakocra. We're good buds.
Delicious.
Yeah. I will not allow an Aarakocra in my campaign,
No.
unless, of course, it's flightless. But maybe a
You
penguin
won't?
Aarakocra. Penguin
Oh my God.
Aarakocra.
That would actually be kind of fun. I wonder what the movement would be, the speed.
A waddle speed of 20. No, I don't know. All right. And let's go with 3,